Right now, we welcome in from Keller Williams, it's Scotty Mills.
Scotty Mills.
Good morning, buddy. How are you?
Good to see you.
Woo.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Whirlwind.
Rocktober.
It is a Rocktober out there.
Absolutely.
Housing markets are moving from a seller to buyer's market. What does that mean for folks here in the South Sound?
Yeah, what that means, we're starting to see that shift. Where the inventory, where we used to have, low inventories, we're starting to see a little more homes come on the market, which is going to give the buyers an opportunity to pick more homes.
Okay.
Now, the chief economist says it's still going to be, the sellers still have the upper hand right now, but we are seeing us making that shift.
Nice.
Where it's going to be, buyer's market there.
So this is then the opportunity for the buyer of the potential property to negotiate a little bit more. They don't feel perhaps the pressure of another person breathing down their neck, maybe have a better deal or cash in hand coming up behind them.
Yeah, choices. It's getting down to where they're saying, the buyers are going to start shifting where they're going to have the leverage. And like we've seen that years ago. However, I still think if someone's looking at selling with the rate still dancing around that 5%, haven't looked at them this morning, it's got to be the point where some people sit there and think in time blocks of seasons. I'll put my home on the fall or the spring. Right. It's almost getting down to like weeks. Oh. What are you going to do? Because this stuff is changing within 3 weeks. You can watch the October stats I pulled up just in our KMAS area. We have 6 new listings in October and 4 that went pending inspection and 2 sold just in October.
So
compared to previous months, we had those numbers were higher.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Is this also then when folks are thinking about entering the home ownership field for the first time, they start kind of looking at the benefits, and as maybe leases start to come up at the end of the year or in the falls as your apartment leases come up, do more people go, gee, maybe now is the time before the prices get too exorbitant that maybe we should start putting our money into home ownership versus just renting?
Oh, hands down. The home ownership route, if you're going to want to build future equity, and of course appreciations are slowing down a little bit, but still, in the long run, that's where your best bet is. Now, people say, well, the renting, I got someone else that pays for the maintenance and all that stuff, but that's all rolled into your rent. So whether you have your own mortgage or someone else's, you're still going to be paying that.
Sure.
So it's kind of hidden. It's like the continental breakfast, Kind of like, hey, we got the... Yeah.
It is
You're liking that one, aren't you?
I like that one this morning. That's a funny one.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. So rolled into apartment or house rental living, sometimes that includes the maintenance. Sometimes that includes the water, sewer, garbage. These are things that you'll have to think about as you're working out your checklist as whether or not I can afford these things.
Yeah, because the landlord's going to roll that in to make sure the reason he's getting a rental property, investment property, is to make money on it. And so he's going to go through his disciplines there and say, well, what's this going to cost me? And then I want to make X amount of dollars, so therefore there's the rent. And that's why you do see some of the rents going up. And traditionally right now, you're seeing situations where you can buy cheaper than you can rent.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You've got top 4 listings, top 4 reasons basically why owning is financially better than renting. One of the ways you say here is studies have shown homeowners' net worth 44 times greater than that of a renter. So is that, though, just lumping in the assumed value of the home, or is there actually some income built up just because you're a homeowner?
Well, the home itself is always going to have, you're going to need TLC, but they're looking at the appreciation in the land and the value of the home as real property, real estate is what we're talking about here. So over the long term, you're going to see, whether it be 5.5%, what your increase is going to be. It's kind of like having money in the bank, but you're getting a better return depending on where you are and what's going on in the market. So absolutely.
Oftentimes you'll get a note whether or not you do have a long-term lease or not, that the rentals and your rents, your monthly rents, go up 2-3% every year, cost of living and those types of things.
Well, yeah, you never know what they're going to do with how that's all written. So at least there's some more stability with the home ownership aspect of it.
That makes sense.
And with the rents, like, oh, by the way, we're selling the building.
Right.
Or
You
And
got
where
30
that
days.
Seattle
Get
developer
out.
comes in and says, "Hey, I want to turn this old theater into a,
Right? Get out.
yeah,
We talked last month that the family that maybe got an average priced home at the beginning of the year could have an additional $50,000 in family wealth over the next 5 years. How does that shake out for the folks?
Well, that essentially is saying that how the market just kind of goes. I mean, like anything else in our economy, it tends to appreciate and go up. You know. So as they build up that equity, they can leverage that into either maybe I'll use some of the equity here, maybe go off and buy another property, or I'll sell that home and take that equity and move up. You know. I think the millennials are starting to kind of doing the math here and saying like, oh, okay. You know.
Yeah.
Tend to be sort of that free spirit generation, like let's travel and let's do this,
Sure.
and why don't 10 of us get a place together, man? And,
Like
but
the 60s.
It is.
but they're going like, hey, there's something to this,
Yeah.
and
That's great.
success leaves clues,
What are some of the trends as we move through the fall into the spring for the types of homes that folks are going to look for? I have seen in the markets the one-story Rambler type home really going fast on the markets. Is it kind of a cyclical thing where next season it will be a two-story home or a town home, or do you get those notes from Keller Williams himself that, hey, these are what you're going to look for, these are likely the homes that will come up and be desired this upcoming year?
Well, at the risk of sounding like a politician and not answering your question, but I think I'm going to answer your question.
Sure.
What you'll find is that when new construction takes off, traditionally you'll see the two stories are cheaper to build on the smaller lot, cheaper to build up than
Right.
out. So that's where you'll see kind of the two-story sort of thing coming in, a new development up here on the hill.
Sure.
And that's where people are thinking, hey, construction loans are great. I can get what I want. I can get a new home. There's where you'll see the two stories. Now, the Ramblers are they get the people that are 55 and older, don't want to deal with stairs, stuff like that. Maybe they want a little more space, a bigger lot, which traditionally your Ramblers would be on, and doing that sort of thing. So the style of home, again, it's a lifestyle choice. Comes down
Yeah,
to it.
my son, when they bought their home in Vegas, they were like, oh, we want one story. Absolutely has to be one story. Has to have a pool. I mean, like
So
they
it doesn't
wanted.
follow a trend
I don't
like
think so.
stainless steel appliances.
I think it's just personal
based on what
preference,
people want.
actually.
No, yeah, because if
Yeah.
you look at homes that maybe were built in the 60s, 50s, when you start looking at older homes, maybe they used to have like the separate dining room, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ward and June Cleaver. Everybody kind of likes that open kitchen concept. They like
Yes.
an open flow, more of a
Right.
social type of culture that we're kind of into.
Yeah.
Don't have the butler's pantry anymore, the separate dining room, the form of the parlor. So if you look at
See, I want
would like
all of that.
I would like a parlor.
Oh, and definitely.
Maybe get a snooker table in there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
a pantry, big old
come over.
pantry, but all the canned
yeah,
goods.
silk robe pipe,
Now you're talking, Scotty.
the labradoodle.
Next time you see one of those houses, you send them my way. I'll take a
That's
look at
what
that.
I want.
That's fun.
I love it.
Folks, how can folks get in touch with you, Scotty?
Oh, just give me a call or text me at 253-405-2936, and then call Jeff. He's got my.
I do have your number.
We
and
know
I,
how
and
to
I
find
feel
you.
I feel very
We know where
comfortable
you're
giving
at.
it out to
But
folks.
yeah, I'd love to sit down with you, and even if you want to talk about stuff other than real estate,
There you go.
Let's get together.
Get together, talk about things. Well,
Have a
good.
beer.
Good,
Yeah.
Scotty. It's 8:44. Thank you much, sir. It's good to see you. We'll see you
Yeah.
in 2 weeks or so. We'll check in
Yeah,
back with
then
you.
we'll have some exciting stuff coming up then too.
Oh, I guess we're getting
Yeah.
close to songbooks. Are you going to bring
Yeah.
the songbooks out again
been
this
working
winter?
on it. Yeah.
Ooh.
We should do a trio. We'll sing a song or something.
I can do it.
Yeah.
I'll do a
Home
little
for the
something.
holidays.
Ah, there you
no
go.
pun intended
somewhere.
there.
Where's Caleb when we need him? He can start breaking out singing.
44 at I-501.
All right.